Last month, I gave a news conference here, detailing what we have been doing in secret over the last 2.5 years. I'm very, very pleased indeed that the situation, the tension, the fraught worries about a war have now receded following the visit of the South Korean team to Pyongyang after the Winter Olympics and the visit of Kim Jong Un to Beijing recently. I was in Beijing 6 days ago. Things are moving. And this morning we hear that Sherpa has been sent by Washington to Pyongyang. We think it is Mr. Pompeo, to discuss the modalities of the summit between President Trump and Korean leader Kim Jong Un. Next, on the 27th and 28th of this month, we have a very significant meeting between North Korea and South Korea in Panmunjom, when President Moon and Kim Jong Un will meet for the first time face-to-face to discuss the future of the Korean Peninsula. And President Trump has also indicated that he prefers or he supports a peace agreement, a peace treaty between the South and the North of Korea. Legally and technically, that is not possible yet, but what is necessary is to move from the armistice that was signed 65 years ago to a peace treaty. And that armistice was signed by North Korea on the one hand, and the United States on behalf of the United Nations on the other. South Korea did not sign that armistice, and so technically, even now, South Korea is in a state of war with North Korea, and we have to put that right, well, in legal terms, but these are procedural things that can happen. It is my view, and I said this in the chamber yesterday, that the North Koreans will offer denuclearization by first offering a freeze. That is a great victory for the West and for President Trump, and it should be seen as that a freeze leading eventually step by step to complete denuclearization should be the strategy. For those who want to sabotage this whole process and demand total denuclearization immediately, I will say, stop it. Don't do it. We have advanced a great deal in getting everybody to come to the table, and it is my view from my various discussions that if Kim Jong Un offers denuclearization and a freeze, we should look at that as a great victory for diplomacy, for President Trump's initiative, for even the fact that sanctions may have been biting and catalyzed this position. And to that, we need to thank also the EU for following the UN resolution. But whatever the reasons, we are now in a position to be able to say that if a freeze is on the table and a step-by-step denuclearization over a period of time, then we should embrace that as a great advance. Now the question then becomes time. One side may have a longer time scale than the other. So the argument may be about time. The second argument, of course, and it is a prerequisite to everything, it should be verifiability. A freeze needs to be verified completely and constantly, because there were suspicions in the past where we were here before and the whole thing collapsed because what was promised at the table was not what was done in North Korea on the ground. And at that time, also curiously, my friend Mr. Bolton was leading the negotiations, and again, some 15 years later, it is Mr. Bolton's fate, I suppose, to be leading the National Security Council at a time when the United States is going to talk about denuclearisation, the Korean Peninsula. So we need actually to be extremely careful and take this step-by-step approach as a very welcoming advance towards peace and a peace treaty in the Korean Peninsula.